Hello. Today I'm back with Toxic 3. I made this video to discuss a player, because he's been very toxic to me, and for years now. He's spread a lot of lies about me, and I can't discuss every player and every lie, but in this case it's relevant to discuss, so I wanted to tell this story. The player I'll be discussing is named FuzzFan1234. He also goes by the names LL Fuzz and FuzzOween. His Discord user is the person you don't know. Although I think the person you don't want to know is a much better name for him. Anyway, to note, in this video you will see me speaking with a few different names, as I change my Discord name sometimes. The names I use in this video are Iron Jin, PK Ghost and Guest 666. Fuzz joined my Discord server on March 2, 2020. I hadn't ever heard of him before this point. On April 5, 2020 I messaged Fuzz to see if he would be interested in being a mod junior in my server. Fuzz wasn't a friend of mine, but I considered him to be responsible and someone who respected the rules. Suitable for mod, it seemed. He was interested and I gave him the promotion. On August 16, 2020, Fuzz was promoted again, this time to the role of mod. Fuzz was one of those guys always asking me questions. He wanted to be a game tester and a YouTuber. Generally I was supportive of Fuzz, as I am with all my members. In this example I featured a game he made in a group game night. In this example he asked me to be in a video for him, for his YouTube channel. I wouldn't agree to that in most cases, but thought I'd support. Fuzz as a mod was a bit excessive. In this example he warned an admin in our public chat. He was new and a mod junior at the time. Maybe he could have spoken to him privately, or reached out to me if he had an issue. But generally Fuzz lacked some tact. He wound up warning members a lot, and generally they resented him. It wound up creating a lot of tension on the server. And a lot of our members didn't get along with Fuzz. I felt bad for Fuzz, so I would try to help him, and be supportive. But Fuzz was just very strict and members disliked him, and often disrespected him. In this example, I was reaching out to our server administrators, so they could give him some support, because Fuzz had issues with our group members. He would also DM me if he needed help. Here's one example of a conversation we had. He says his time here, which is important later on. So members didn't like Fuzz, but he was alright as a mod and did follow and enforce rules. So despite cries to demote him, we kept Fuzz on as mod. On January 25, 2021 we were considering a new game night host, and Fuzz's name was suggested. I fully supported it. As well, my staff fully supported his promotion. I wanted him to do game night host, because I thought maybe it would help him have fun with members. So what happened next was kind of surprising. A few hours later, right after promoting Fuzz, I was pinged in our admin channel, and told a mod was sharing staff logs with banned members. The logs were being shared and posted in other groups by a player named Kideboy. His name on Roblox is Galaxy Phoenix Flames. There was no reason he should have our mod logs, as he was banned from the group. As you can see, I make no comments in the logs. 2 former moderators named Danny and Ice had made comments there. Malik believed Fuzz had been leaking the logs, so I spoke to Fuzz. Fuzz denied that it was him. This is my conversation with Fuzz. From that day, he claimed Ahmad Jr. had leaked the logs. But then Fuzz stopped responding. To discuss staff rules. Like most servers, my server had staff rules. One of those rules being not to share staff chats or logs. Staff must react to indicate whether or not they agree to the rules. Fuzz reacted to agree to these rules. And everything seemed fine with Fuzz. With my admins we continued to discuss, and tried to figure it out. I wasn't so sure it was Fuzz. I was confused, because as a mod I did trust Fuzz, and had no issues with him, so I saw no reason as to why he would be doing this. But then I realized something. The log that Phoenix shared had a timestamp. As well, Phoenix's direct message had a timestamp. Based on that, we figured out that the person who sent the log to Phoenix was 1 hour behind Phoenix's time. And I was ahead of Phoenix's time by 1 hour. So whoever sent this message was 2 hours behind me. Checking back on my DM with Fuzz when he reached out for help and said his time. Fuzz is 2 hours behind me. So now we just had to check the time for all of our mods, to see who it could potentially be. The rest of our mods confirmed time zones and devices, and we determined it did seem to be Fuzz who leaked the logs. We were disappointed. Then Fuzz finally responded back and angrily, blaming me for not trusting him. I asked him for his time, the same as we did with every other mod. Fuzz's response was BS. He was starting to be pretty rude to me. He started to yell at me for demoting him. And honestly I didn't realize he was demoted at that point. But if admins demoted him during that period it was simply to be safe while we verified who had leaked the logs. Then he started to attack my server. Then curse at me. Then blocked me. Really rude. Then I went to show admins what happened, and was told to check the lobby. Fuzz stopped there to curse out our members. Then all on his own he left the server. After Fuzz left we discussed what happened in the group. Since he was aggressive with members, I wanted them to be clear on why he was demoted. Since sometimes people twist things around. Most members seemed to agree that what Fuzz did was wrong. About an hour later I wasn't online or checking chats. But another player named Smowish012 had started spamming a harassing image. These are the chats from that time. This is the image Smowish was spamming in my group. Less than an hour after Fuzz left. It's the leaked log with hateful messages scribbled all over it. I think he attacked Ice for spamming L in the logs. In my case I don't know why Smowish attacked me. He didn't know me personally or know anything about me. He was just a random member in my group. I believe he attacked me in retaliation for Fuzz's demotion and Phoenix's ban. It feels uncomfortable to be judged and attacked in this way, have my personal life and morals be assumed and attacked. Because I play a video game in my spare time. There was no reason for Smowish to spam hate in my group. After his spam and mute, Smowish also left my server. Then he was banned. Here's some examples of my previous interactions with Smowish. Much like Fuzz, never had an issue. Was always nice and gave him advice. So what happens after this? After Fuzz leaked logs, created drama, cursed at me, and blocked me, I blocked him back. The end, right? No. Immediately after he was demoted in my group, other servers began to give him status roles in their servers. In this screenshot, me and Malik, who was my server's head admin, discuss Fuzz being given moderator in the leaderboard group. The owners of this group were present when Fuzz leaked server logs and cursed out members. He leaked the logs in their server. Why would they promote him? Why would they trust him as staff in any server after such dishonorable acts on my server, which they witnessed? Why were they also trying to add my head admin as a moderator? I often let the owner of the leaderboard group Angel know what Fuzz was doing, but he didn't seem to care. After his demotion, Fuzz started talking bad about me and spreading lies around about me on different servers. Here's an example from the MM2 Discord server. He claims I banned him. I didn't ban him. He left. He is angry he left after a promotion. He leaked staff logs, that's why he was demoted. His demote was justified. He claims his promotion was a trap I set. Simple TJ, who was our game night manager, responds that to promote him was his idea. But this is ignored by Fuzz. It does not fit in with his victim story. I did not even demote him. Yet he goes around blaming me, to accuse me of wrongdoing in the eyes of others. There's over 200,000 people on this Discord server, so I consider it slander. He goes around lying about me in front of other game testers and the whole community. Here's another example from the MM2 Discord server. A player states that they are banned in the leaderboard server. They say probably Angel banned them. Fuzz, however, immediately states that it was most likely Jen, indicating me. Why most likely? It makes no sense. Again, he is misrepresenting and lying about me. Yes, I was given admin when I joined the leaderboard server, but that existed for about a day. I banned one person there, because they cursed at me aggressively and insulted me when I joined. They basically were an unknown person that attacked me for no reason at all. The one ban I did was justified. And aside from that, I never did any other bans or administration there. This is not that person, and everything Fuzz says is a fabrication. He is simply implying me as a way to further create a negative image. In this screenshot, he randomly brings up my name and talks badly about me for no reason. My biggest haters flock to him. He has made lots of new friends after his demotion in my group, which if you watch this video you will understand he was rightfully demoted, though he acts like some wrong was done to him, for some weird clout. Always randomly bringing up my name for no reason. In death, I guarantee we will be going to different places, and he will need to enjoy hell without me. Some more lies spread about me by Fuzz on the MM2 Discord server. Here he starts to claim that I had a player named Fiery raided on the behalf of Galaxy Phoenix Flames. This is a blatant lie, and I take offense to it. The reality is Fuzz Phoenix and many others were involved with raiding Fiery. The whole leaderboard group was a part of it. I was against raiding and would tell them not to raid. I didn't agree with raiding because in the past I had been raided a lot and it gave me anxiety. When they would bring up raiding in my group, if I saw it I would tell them not to. This is why my members would go to the leaderboard group then to discuss it there freely. Because raids were allowed there and they were all involved. For him to now blame me is absurd. It's a lie and I have some proof. Here is a conversation I had with Fuzz during that event where he claims I raided Fiery. The conversation starts with me warning them that if they get close to Fiery they might be raided, because that was my experience in the past. Fuzz responds by saying he might raid Fiery. I basically tell Fuzz not to raid him. I say I don't condone raids, which means I don't agree with raids. I tell him avoiding raids is better and give them advice on how to avoid being raided then. Still they continued for the whole event. That's how Galaxy Phoenix Flames attained third on this event. Still they continue to lie and publicly blame me for something they did. Everyone in the group knew what they were doing. Everyone villainized Fiery so no one cared. They weren't keeping what they were doing secret. But I was busy grinding first and wasn't involved with what they were doing. I was focused on avoiding being raided. Then Fuzz continues to try to discredit me. Here he starts claiming that on the 2019 event a player named Daya Walker had little to no cover. Then he claims I had the most cover, and says Daya was the best grinder for that whole year even. She even claims she had no cover, and was hospitalized. Imagine having cover, she says. I'm sorry, but this is all a lie. I didn't even meet Fuzz until after this event, so I'm clueless as how he tries to speak for me or my grind. Also, Daya did have cover. Her brother was her cover. This is him. I messaged her during the event. Here is a screenshot from that conversation. I am complaining about being solo going against a team. And she is saying she takes turns with her brother. When I am tired, it's his turn. Having been solo for 2 weeks versus a team, I was pretty annoyed. This was the first grind event. Everyone was grinding solo trying to get on the leaderboard. And we had not even considered teaming up. When we found out people were teaming up, we reported it to testing even. Because we felt it was unfair. But we were told it was allowed. From old group announcements, it's documented that the Halloween 2019 event started on October 26. For 13 days I used no cover. Since we knew they had cover, everyone was saying I should get cover too then. On November 8, my friend at the time Hypocritical offered to cover me. Before then I had no cover. On the 14th day Hippo offered me cover. And I had some cover on the next 9 days. Mainly because I had work scheduled. But I didn't have full cover or daily cover. My account would go offline. Daya Walker, from what we know, had covered the full event. The event ended on November 16th. So that's what actually happened in 2019. Daya told me she had cover and Hippo told me Chow had cover. So we decided I should add cover too to have a fair chance to compete. But I don't think I used more cover than either of them. I think I used less than Daya, that's for sure. Chowins I can't confirm. Daya's brother was on the MM2 Discord server at the time, and he spoke a bit there. During the event, he called her dumb and said she broke his PC. He seemed frustrated. He sent a DM to Hippo the same day, mad about him covering me. Not sure why they were upset I had cover now, since she had cover. And not sure why they lie about it today. Not sure why Fuzz claims this, as I haven't even met him until 2020. Clearly this is biased. Daya's use of cover is why I added cover, not the other way around. That's the truth about it. Yet 3 years later they are still lying and slandering me because I beat her. Here's another screenshot. This time from the JD server. Here Fuzz is saying how me and Hippo won't be top 3 that year. Why is he so confident? At this time though Fuzz was an admin on Hippo's server. Shouldn't he be rooting for him then? Kind of two-faced. I wish he would stop spreading biased opinions about me, by the way. Here's another example from the JD server. People are discussing who's number 1. Iron Genjin or Hippo. Fuzz pops in to say Hippo is number 1 in stats. No offense to anyone, but my stats were higher than Hippo's for some time. And back then my stats were higher than his. Here's a reference comparing our stats documented around that time in YouTube videos. And Fuzz knew this. Yet again he decides to lie. Yet again he states it as a fact publicly. Just more propaganda from Fuzz. Then he continues. And states another player has the highest sheriff stats. His name is Godly Shiba. Also he states that he doesn't even farm. The thing is, Sheba told me in my group he did farm sheriff stats. These screenshots are from a channel I have in my server called Proof Stats. Some players were farming stats in a way that was just excessive and obvious. So I decided not to grant roles for farmed stats. Sheba was in my server then. And it's no disrespect to him. Just he did say that he farmed sheriff stats. Contrary to what Fuzz goes around claiming as fact. Here's another mistruth from Fuzz on the MM2 Discord server. This time he claims to be the only player in MM2 with both blue sets. That was the most recent proof he posted in my server. I don't know, maybe I'm confusing what he meant here. Just personally I don't trust a word he says. Here's another example of Fuzz's strange behavior towards me. This is my group. It used to be named Primary Killers. Fuzz made a copy version called Primary Kinship, and invited only band members of my group there, recreated all the Primary Killers roles and channels. Kind of creepy if you ask me. I find it very strange that they can't take responsibility for their bands, and that they can't move on. Instead Fuzz made this group. It seems more like a hate group to me. All of their bans were justified. My server didn't have an excessive amount of bans even. 354 bans in almost 3 years. Considering many of the bans look like this. Anyone who was ever banned on my server, the ban was justified. We banned alts, toxic members that joined, people who broke rules. Pretty simple. To be honest, even after what Fuzz did on my server, we hadn't even banned him. That ban came a month later when he rejoined to be toxic. Staff banned him, as I wasn't even on the server at the time I had left. So regarding Fuzz, I think Fuzz has wrongfully created a lot of hate around me in the community, especially in the leaderboard community. The owners of this leaderboard group were members of Primary Killers when Fuzz misbehaved in my group. They were witnesses to what they did. At the time they seemed to agree it was wrong. However, the logs were being posted in their group chats, and they allowed it. And almost immediately after Fuzz did what he did, he was given moderator in the leaderboard group, where he is now admin, and Fuzz has been using that platform and his position there as a means to attack me since. Currently he is also admin for Hypocritical. After Fuzz had an issue with me, he quickly was given mod there. Like with the leaderboard group, I do not have many screenshots from there as I am not a member. But I've heard he's done things like randomly ban me in the public chat, despite me not being a member even. Again, using Hippo's platform as a means to attack me while being co-signed by Hippo. Sometimes I'm sent screenshots of what he says in Hippo's group. Here he was planning some attack on my group, and speaking hatefully of my group in Hippo's group chats. These were sent to me by Molly Violent. This screenshot shows him continuing on different platforms. Another case of Fuzz making drama around me on the leaderboard server, where I'm not even a member. Being the #1 leaderboard player, I am banned there for no reason. Mainly I think it's so they can freely trash my name and lie about me. And another, there have been so many incidents all rooting back to Fuzz. Too many to cover everything right now. Also, I'm probably unaware of most of his attacks. But I'll let some screenshots roll in the background without explanation. And I'll finish up. Me and Fuzz were never friends. He was an active member in my group. I gave him some small opportunity. He was demoted for wrongdoing, then became toxic. Since then he's been using his group roles to have platforms for his bias, to literally spread lies and induce hatred. So Fuzz goes around lying about me, telling people I never heard of that I raided them, spreading gossip and false rumors intentionally, and generally creating a lot of drama and hatred around me. All because he is still salty over his demotion, which he caused. For me, Fuzz is one of the most toxic and untrustworthy players I've met while running a server. I'm unsure after this behavior why anyone has given him status positions. Maybe he said all the right things on the application? From my experience, most of what he says seems to be untrue, and I do not consider him to be trustworthy. You may have a different experience, but this has been my experience with this player. Okay, so that's all I have to say about Fuzz. I hope he gets a clue about things, and I hope the people around him will start to hold him accountable so he will change. Also, sorry if this upsets anyone. Based on the lies, I felt the need to clear a few things up. What I really want is for Fuzz to get a life. Stop lying about me. Stop creating drama. Stop spam joining me with toxic people when I have you blocked. Leave me alone. I have no interest in you. You are not interesting at all. Go away. I called him trash here. He had joined me with about 8 people harassing me. And Fuzz is trash to me, yes. I guess he's scared of being exposed.